ENDA rule, which the Congress has not acted on, and there's been a lot of pressure on the president to sign such an executive order. He finally decided to do so. This is a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, a very big deal. I mean, we've been trying to get employment non-discrimination done for a long time. I think Wisconsin was the first state in the nation, 1982, signed by a Republican governor in 1983 that passed it for gays and lesbians. At that time, we didn't have transgender included, but now most states that are doing this obviously are doing it in the most full and inclusive way. But the fact that the president is getting this done, and we requested it from the Equality Caucus, LGBT groups across the country requested it. Again, this is part of Congress not acting. If it got to the floor, I'm confident the votes are there. We have 8 Republican co-sponsors and virtually every Democrat's a sponsor, but it's getting it onto the floor past Speaker Boehner, who's representing the Tea Party folks of his caucus, not the rest of us. And because of that, the president is, again, filling the void and making sure that something gets done, and we really appreciate that.
The Faith and Freedom Coalition is out this morning with a statement. I just was reading earlier. Ralph Reed, and they have their big conference now in Washington this week, starting today. So all the Republican candidates are going to be there, and Faith and Freedom Coalition. And this is just another example of the imperial presidency, right? President basically breaking the law and going over and above the Constitution to do something, even though Congress will not do it. What I wonder is, and these other Republicans in the House, I mean, John Boehner, what is their defense of not signing this? In other words, are they really saying it's okay to discriminate against people in this country today?
I don't think
for any reason.
I don't think personally John Boehner is our problem from conversations that we've had with him and even others, like Paul Ryan, who supported previous versions of ENDA, one of a relatively small number of Republicans. But it's that, Tea Party base, again, that they have, the people that are going to go to that conference and, everyone who wants to run for president is going to be there, who feels that that's a small subset. It's less than 20% of Republicans, last I heard from some polling data that we had. But they're appealing to them because it counts like double in Republican primaries. And when you have Tea Party candidates and everything, we saw what just happened to Eric Cantor. They have a voice, a much louder voice than what they represent in society, and they have obviously a very skewed view, I think, of discrimination and how we treat people. So it's just been hard to get the leadership to put it forward because, again, the tail wags the dog in that caucus.
Yeah, I would just like to hear them say, okay, here's why we're against it. I've never heard a clear argument about it.
Well, there was one Republican member, and I'm forgetting who it was, who said, I don't know if it exists. Discrimination exists against gays and lesbians. No one's called my office. And you're kind of like, great, that's a great way to govern. But it's just kind of this idiocy that, again, part of it is they appeal and pander to that small subset that totally is around bigotry and discrimination. Yeah. And then part of it, I think, is just, their fear of actually doing anything because they're afraid of these Tea Party primaries, and part of why we don't get much done at all in Congress. I mean, last week we were halfway through the agricultural appropriations bill, which for my district means an awful lot, and all of a sudden the Cantor defeat happened and they pulled the bill. Once again, the tail just wags that dog in that caucus over and over. Yeah.